Hello and welcome to an introduction to sputter deposition. So what is sputtering? Sputtering is a type of physical vapor deposition, also known as PVD, a process whereby atoms are ejected from a solid target material due to bombardment of the target by energetic particles. And then the ablated atoms are deposited on the substrate, forming thin film. So this is the outside look of a sputter machine. And this model is a dielectric sputter system. On the outside, it looks very similar to a electric scanning microscope in a way. So this is the basic sputter configuration of a magnetron gun. When bias is applied between the cathode and anode, and then with the presence of a noble gas, current conducts through the gas between the electrodes to form plasma, and the magnetic array beneath the target focuses the plasma so that the ion head from the anode on the top to the cathode to strike the target surface. And this diagram in particular shows the interaction between the argon ions, which it strikes into the target surface of the negatively charged target material, and then which will then sputter off target ion. So basically, first, when the current is applied, the electrons travel through the target material and then into the vacuum, and then where it interacts with neutrally charged argon atoms to form a plasma state, and in the plasma state, argons become charged and it becomes an argon ion, and then the positively charged argon ions are attracted to the negatively charged target surface, which then it will collide, and then which will in results cause the sputter target atom to come off. So in this diagram, it shows a more broad image of how the whole sputtering process works. So basically, it's the same process where electrons travel through the anode into the plasma, and then in the plasma vacuum, it will then interact with the neutralized atoms to become ionized argons, and then the ionized argons will be attracted to the negatively charged target area, and then it will release atoms of target materials, and then the atoms of target material will travel through the vacuum onto the substrate, forming a thin film. So by controlling the pressure of argon gas in the vacuum, it can change the way how the sputtered atoms can be collected onto the substrate. So when the pressure is lower, there will be less argon gas particle in the vacuum, which will provide a better line of sight for the ablated particles to travel onto the substrate, which will then it'll be a nice uniformed line because there's nothing blocking the way, which will then form a less uniformed film, only with deposits on the top. But then when the pressure increases, there will be more argons that will interact with the ablated atoms when it goes through the vacuum, which will result changes direction, and then the end result of that is a more uniform film where all sides of the substrate will be coated more evenly. So this is the basic sputter process. So the process starts by igniting the plasma and then sets flow plus pressure for ignition. and then after that, you enable gun power output and wait for the plasma to be very sustained. And then the actual process starts in layer 2, where you, after changing the ramp and whole process parameter, you can reduce pressure and adjust flow to the desired level, and then slowly ramp up gun to power to desired level, and then usually pre-sputter target to clean the surface. That will usually take a couple minutes, and then after that the real process starts the deposit by opening the shutter, the sputtering gun will deposit, and then the process similarly stops when you close the shutter, and then the sputtering gun will stop the sputtering process, and then after that ramp down the power, and then turn off the gas flow. So in comparison, the idea of having energized particle sputter or bombard into the target material is similar to when a stone or particle is dropped into the water. Basically, the water is the target material, and then the rock symbolizes the ion which charges are bombarded into it, and then it will cause a splash, or in the sputtering case, it will cause the target material to come off a blade, and then after that the splash would go to, and then after that the splash would be collected in the district. So the application of sputtering is mainly for the deposit of thin film of materials in integrated circuit processing, also in CDs, where it requires materials to be coated onto a integrated circuit processing, and sputtering is a easy way to do that. And then it can also be used to apply thin anti-reflection coating onto lenses. And then the sputtering coating can also be used in electron scanning microscopy, where it applies a thin layer of metal onto the target specimen in order to help it have a better image when it goes through electroscanning microscopy.